To you, Phil, it was one of those occasions where all the hype at the end just didn't quite live up to expectations.
Well, you know, it's a difficult thing, bike racing. It's a hard thing on a one-day race. It's very hard to control everything. There's 5 riders, no radios. It's not like the Tour de France where you can communicate with the team director and make things happen. So they gave it a good shot, but you know, Vinokurov is no slouch. You know, he's a good rider and he's won some good races. So he's a punchy guy. So to get away and he's not a bad guy to win, put it that way.
Well, Simon Brotherton was saying in the commentary, at times he's been a divisive figure in the sport, but equally, it's a bit of a fairy tale for him. It's his last professional season. He got injured last year riding the Tour de France when it would have been his last Tour de France, then said, I don't want to go out like that. He rode the Tour de France again this year just to finish on a relative high. He was in good form in the Tour as well.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's pretty amazing story all round, really. You know, we've done brilliantly in the Tour, and you've got to feel sorry for Cav. You know, he's built his season around this and he deserved it, but that's the way it goes. One-day races, you know, Paris-Roubaix, Tour of Flanders, the Olympic road race, anything can happen. And there's only 5 riders, no radios, and it was, you know, it was a difficult thing to control. So they tried to do it and they gave it their best shot. That's the way it goes.
Michael, if I can turn to you, as your friend Phil was saying there, today's profile in terms of the stage with the 9 climbs on Box Hill was much more like a classic race like Liège-Bastogne-Liège or Paris-Roubaix, maybe not Paris-Roubaix, but the cobbles maybe, but like Amstel Gold as well. The profile didn't really suit Cavendish.
Well, I think in hindsight, you can look at the peloton there and think that the mixture probably suited a breakaway more than a sprint, because there's only really ever 2 teams going to commit to the front to pull back the breakaway there, and you've asked 4 British guys to ride on the front all day, and there's 20-30 riders up in a breakaway. Once you started to realise that there were 3 Spaniards up there, 3 Swiss riders I believe, the likes of Gilbert, that's a pretty tasty group. So, you know, for the British guys to pin them back with very little help from anyone else, I think credit to him, they just didn't do it in the end.
And I thought the turning point was when that breakaway of 12 was eventually joined by the chasing group that Vincenzo Nibali started off in the end. When you get 30 or 40 riders breaking away like that, I think there were 20 in the final selection there, that's just too big, because when they all work together, they're acting pretty much as a mini peloton.
Exactly, and I think the problem that the British guys had was that they obviously had to control the pace, so Cav had something at the end for the sprint, but that obviously encouraged lots of riders, the likes of Nibali, Gilbert, to get off the front and get into a break. So it's a very dicey game. There's so many ways to win a bike race, and that just goes to show what one-day classics are all about.
Before a final word on Cav there, Phil, we saw Fabian Cancellara about 5 minutes after the race had finished, finally crossing the finishing line. It speaks volumes of the character of the man, really, that he was able to do so, but he was in tears afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that he crashed apparently in Rosslyn Park. So, you know, Mike and I were talking and going, well, if Cancellara's going to break, he's going to nail this and go away and go for it. And yeah, the fact he didn't, you know, says everything really, you know, because he would have been the favourite really.
And just finally, a quick word on Cav from the pair of you. Another Olympics passes by for him without a medal of any description. Realistically, maybe it may be Rio 2016 a bust for him now.
Yeah, well, he's still a legend, you know, the things he's done for British cycling over the years. You know, this is the nature of one-day racing. You just can't control it.
Well, Michael, Phil, many thanks for joining us once again here. The scene in Roehampton still very joyous, it must be said. The picnics have resumed, the barbecue's back going again. So I'm off to catch a burger there, Phil. But with the cycling fans here, a tinge of disappointment nonetheless.
Yeah, they'll flow back. We'll get that.